Kia ora, good evening. Victory for Bluff residents today as the announcement comes from police to station 2 constables in the seaside town as opposed to the 1 community constable that was being proposed.
At the end of January, Bluff residents were rocked by the notion their policing would be downgraded from 3 staff to 1 community constable. But today, police announced the proposed realignment of staffing levels has changed following consultation. A 1,300 signature petition presented to the Minister of Police on Monday, along with a heated public meeting that drew a 200-strong crowd, drew acknowledgement from police about the passion Bluff residents has for its policing staff and may have helped sway the decision. Waima Glassie of St John Bluff said today she was pleased with the result, saying she was surprised at how effective people's voices have been in this process and how good it was to have been listened to. Invercargill MP Sarah Dowie said today law and order is a key platform of the national government and keeping frontline officers in Bluff is important to keep the community down there safe. Police stated today the existing 3rd position would be redeployed to Invercargill and it's anticipated the new structure will be in place by the end of March.
2 separate dog attacks in Invercargill in the past month have led to one of the owners facing prosecution under the Dog Control Act.
2 women were attacked by dogs in Henderson Street in January and now the dog's owner faces 3 separate charges under the Dog Control Act. Sections 53, 57 and 58 cover attack without serious injury. Attack with serious injury and dogs outside their owner's property could result in fines of up to $26,000 for the owner. In the second case, the owner of a dog that attacked a courier driver on Anglam Street will be sent an infringement for failing to keep a dog controlled or confined, which carries a fine of $200. City Manager Richard King says views of the victims, the response of the dog owners and the nature and severity of each attack were all considered before reaching a decision.
Picturesque Fiordland continues to be a drawcard for visitors to the region, spelling good news for tourist operators and accommodation providers in the area.
Overall guest nights rose 21.4% in December 2014 compared to the previous year, with international nights up 23.3% for the same period. Over 55,000 international guests stayed in Fiordland in December and their length of stay also rose. Overall occupancy rose from 43.6% to more than 55%. Domestic guest nights for the region rose close to 17%.
Secondary students from around Southland began a new venture today on their way to becoming Southland's next entrepreneurs. Sharon Rees has more.
The groups were formed and the ideas were flowing as teenagers began planning their entry into Southland's business sector today. Southland Enterprise Day saw over 140 students from 6 local schools get in groups and put their heads together to form a winning business idea.
Today is the start of our Line Foundation Young Enterprise scheme. So students are going to set up and run their own business for real this year, and today is a workshop day for them where they're coming together to brainstorm their concepts, think about their business goals and to get a little bit of mentoring from the local business community.
So these businesses that they're making for real, will they work with their schools to do that?
Yeah, the programs all run through the schools, so teachers monitor the program, run the program with their students, and they're supported by our regional coordinator. So around the country we have different regional coordinators who work with the local business community, providing that connection from the classroom out to the business community so that students can find suppliers, mentors and expertise to really get that product to market.
And what kind of things are they learning here today specifically?
Well, along the journey for the year, obviously they're going to learn about enterprise. So a lot of the soft skills like teamwork, communication, and you can see a lot of that happening behind me today. They're having to discuss ideas, collaborate, but ultimately underneath that they are learning the basics of business, what it's like to plan a business, all the different components about marketing and customers, researching that, and actually sales, and at the end of the day reporting and reviewing on that whole process. So hopefully we're growing the next generation of entrepreneurs and also adding to their economic development in the regions for job creation.
And according to Young Enterprise, it's never too early to teach valuable business skills.
It's proven in the research and internationally that the younger you introduce those concepts, particularly financial literacy, the better payback for society and for economic development. So we have programs right down at primary school level, for example, where they're running little market days, and we know from our own experience of this program running for 34 years that our alumni reflect all the time on the skills that they developed and the fact that they could run their first business in this low-risk environment. A lot of those people have gone on to be very successful. Rod Drury from Xero is a great example, of course, of how he's learnt his trainer wheels, I guess, and a lot of other students are doing the same thing. Every year, one of the best things for us is students just reflect on how much they've enjoyed that process, and we see their confidence develop from the start of the year right to the end at, say, our national awards, and how proud they are of their achievements, how developed they are in terms of their business knowledge, but also their own personal development.
And the enterprise scheme has proven popular with students, with some familiar faces returning from previous years.
Having the experience last year to run a business with real risk and real reward was just something I couldn't gain inside the classroom. So I'm just really excited, and if I can get the same out of this program as what I did last year this year, I'll be so happy.
Do you find that you use these skills outside of school?
Yes, the skills carry over from public speaking, working with other people, and just learning how to really run something successfully. It's something I've used in all areas of my life outside of the program.
So where do you hope to go with this?
Well, ideally, it's something that's going to make you money. That's the overall plan, but I'm really excited about business, and it's just such an adaptive market. You can do anything with it. I'm really excited at the future opportunities.
Teams will pitch their business ideas to a panel of judges later in the year who will decide if they have what it takes to run a successful business. It's then up to the students themselves to either make it or break it. Sharon Rees, South Today News.
ASB's main report, Regional Economic Scoreboard, was released today and shows Southland's ratings are fair to middling. Southland was given a rating of 3 out of 5 stars, with the report stating the region's economic activity was continuing at a modest pace despite the fall in dairy incomes. A rise in guest nights, car sales and construction keep the economy on balance, with Southland's unbudging house prices being its main weak spot. Scoreboard ratings are based on the latest quarterly regional statistics of the country's 16 regional council areas. Do stay with us after the break. The pressure eases on Queenstown employers and a musical mob takes over the CBD. Welcome back. Government set tough new targets today, including 75,000 fewer New Zealanders being on benefits by 2018 as part of its Better Public Services drive.
The latest results from the BPS program show almost 5,000 people came off the job seeker support benefit last year, 200 fewer children experienced substantial physical abuse, and infant immunisation are at an all-time high. The program, which measures progress in 10 areas, has several new targets set to achieve by June 2018, including a 25% reduction in people receiving main benefits and a $13 billion reduction in long-term costs of benefit dependence. 60% of 25 to 34-year-olds will have a level 4 qualification or above. That's up 5% on previous targets, and a 20% target reduction in total crime, also up 5%.
People in the Invercargill CBD today may have been a little confused when seemingly random strangers burst into song and dance. The Southern Institute of Technology's annual flash mob took students and S Street shoppers by surprise when they came together to perform what's an O-Week celebration for SIT's Bachelor of Contemporary Musical students. The students are given just 3 days into the new school year to prepare for the flash mob before hitting the streets to perform.
We like to give students a challenge the moment they come into the department and set them up to get to know each other and have a bit of fun during O-Week.
It is the first week of school. How do you pull something like this together so quickly?
We design our first week around this and another one of our ventures called Mix Up Band, where we get our first, second and third years together in ensemble groups that play together at Centre Stage on Friday at 12. And we have workshops. So the whole week is designed around getting the students to know each other, getting them warmed up for the year, and then when we kick off with classes next week, we're straight in.
Were they all experienced musicians?
Our second and third years have had a bit of time with us, so they know what to expect. The first years that come in, they do have some musical experience, but they can be chucked in the deep end as well. It's good for them. So it energises them, it gives them a good understanding of what's expected in the classroom, because we're straight into looking at our product at the end. So we've only got 3 or 4 days to get it together, and they are quite warmed up by the time they had us next week.
And was there any hiccups in doing this?
No, there's always a few laughs though. Yeah.
Is this part of the curriculum, or is it just a bit of fun just to get them all together?
It's not part of the curriculum, but we think about the curriculum when we're putting it together. So, like I said, we're trying to get their ethos into the classroom at that point, so they know what to expect from the tutors.
What kind of reaction do you get from the public?
The public, they can be quite surprised today because of the song that we did. It starts off, it's quite intimidating. Everybody, looks around and sees what's going on. But they're generally really supportive, and we usually have a big cheer at the end of it, which is what we want.
Changes to immigration rules announced today seek to help Queenstown employers recruit much needed staff. The tourism industry in Queenstown has experienced strong growth in the past year, which has created challenges for operators struggling to recruit enough staff to help with the increased demand. A new streamlined visa process will see a temporary hold on the requirements for employers to conduct a labour market test for higher skilled applications, which will relieve pressure in the town. The streamlined immigration process will be in place from now until June 2015 and will shorten the time it takes to process temporary work visas. And now let's check out today's weather.
Your forecast on Q is brought to you by Environment Southland. Environment Southland wants to know what you think about our recreational water areas. Where do you go? What do you do? And your thoughts about the water quality. You could win one of 5 $100 vouchers simply by completing their survey. The survey will help them find out whether the water is being tested in the right places and how the service can be improved. Complete the survey online by going to Environment Southland's website, or pick up a hard copy from Environment Southland, the Southland District Council, Gore District Council, Invercargill City Council or Public Health South.
And here's your temperatures for today, Thursday the 19th of February. Auckland, starting with Auckland at 24 degrees, Wellington on 23, warm in Christchurch on 26 today, Dunedin on 22, along with Invercargill, Gore on 20 and Stewart Island on 17. Tomorrow, areas of morning cloud followed by fine spells, some evening showers inland. Winds are mainly light, northwesterlies developing overnight. High of 23 for Wyndham tomorrow. In Invercargill, 21 degrees, an overnight low of 13 for Tuatapere, Invercargill and Gore. And for nightcaps, a high of 22 tomorrow. Queenstown chasing 24, as is Te Anau. To the marine forecast now for Fovo, variable 10 knots to northwest 15 knots, a southwest 2 metre swell and slight seas. Visibility will be poor and patchy drizzle. And for Pusiga, southeast 15 knots changing to variable 10 knots, southwest swell of 2 metres, becoming moderate sea and poor visibility and patchy drizzle. And the long range forecast for Saturday, cloud increasing, showers developing late morning, gradually clearing for afternoon with light winds, becoming fine on Sunday with light winds and fine with light winds on Monday. And that looks really good for the weekend. And that's it from us this Thursday. We're back tomorrow with your local news at 5:30. From the news team, good night.